Welcome to our course, Acquiring Coding Skills in Python. And in this part of our course, we will be learning about functions. We will be defining functions. We will be identifying the ways on how to make function, why we use function, the structure and nature of functions. So without further ado, let's make a new file. So let's go to File, then New. Then we're going to use Python file here, and our name would be functions. Enter. Now, we already have a notebook here. Here is our problem. We are going to make two lists first of numbers, and we need to find the total of each of these lists. For example, we're going to call the first list to be Joseph, INC. So INC here is income. So for example, we have his income for the whole month, and that is four different incomes. That means for each week. So we have 23, for example, 23. Then we have 34, 65, and 89. So that is his income for the 4 weeks of the month. Then we have, shall we say, Jack, INC. Okay, so we have 12, 56, 24, and 78. 78. Okay. So we have these two lists, Joseph's income and Jack's income. Traditionally, without a function, we can use the for loop. So we had that one before. We will have this one using a for loop first. So total. So for item in Joseph's, this one. Okay. And then we have total equals total plus item. Then we are going to print. So shall we say Joseph's income. Then we have, so as you could see here, we use here just only one quotation mark. That's why these parts of, or this part of this statement is not in green. So this must be double. Okay, so consistency here is the key. Now let's run this. Run for loop. It's function. Run with the function. So Joseph's income is 211. This is only for Joseph's income. What about for Jack? So we will copy this one. Copy. And then let's just change Joseph to Jack. Then here is Joseph's. So we're going to run this. Okay, so you have there Joseph's income is 211 and Jack's income is 170. So this is actually correct. We can do this one. But the problem is this: when we do have thousands or even millions of data, what are we going to do? We cannot do something like this. It's going to be very tedious and it could be very impossible, thinking the fact that in the real world, we're going to have millions of rows. So this is not very practical. This is not scalable actually when we have this number of entries. So with this, the way we can do this is that we're going now to use a function. So let's comment this one out first. For how to make a function, very simple. We're going to have def, which means define a function. So let's name this function as calculate, or just calc inc. Have here inc. Okay, or the income. What we're going to do is that we are just actually going to copy this one. This is what we're going to use as the body of our function. Okay, so this must be, and we're going to also indent this one more, and we're going to return total. Okay, and then we are going to just copy this one. And then we'll just comment this one out. We won't use this one because it's already here. And then the next thing that we're going to do is that we're going now to call the function. So let's have Joseph's INC, or just say total equal to, let's have INC, or let's have calc. And then we are going to call this one Joseph's Inc. or Joseph Inc. And then we will do the same for Jack. Jack total is equal to calc Inc. And we're going to call Jack Inc. here. Okay. And oh, we forget there should be a colon here. Okay. And the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to print. So let's print Joseph's total income. Total income is, then we are going to have Joseph total. And so we're going to have this one for Jack. So we have Jack's total income is, okay. So we have in there. Now we're going to execute this and let's see what's going to happen. Okay, now we have in there. So this one must be total. Sorry for that. Total. So let's execute this one once more. So run. Okay, there you go. So 178. I think something is wrong with our code. Okay, this one here. It must be ink. So we just copied that one just a while ago. So that's why we actually forgot that. So let's execute this once more. Run. Okay, then functions. Okay, now there we have in there. So Joseph's total income is 211 and Jack's total income is 170. So basically what we have in this process is that we define a function, and within this function we have this body from the total going to return. So the body here is the process that takes place inside the function. So the process is that for each item of INC in this case, so we make the addition of the total first. See, we first instantiate here 0 for the total, and then for each item we add that to 0. So for example, 23 plus 0, or 0 plus 23, and then after that we add 34 to the sum of 0 and 23, and so on and so forth. So that happens also to Jack's income. We're going now to have another example. So let's comment this one out. So as you could see in this case, we only have one parameter here, INC. And in some cases, we may have more than one parameter. So in this example, we're going to have two parameters. We're going to have this function, so diff. So in this case, we're going to have a sum of two numbers. And these numbers are A and B. And then we're going to have the total, which is equal to adding A plus B. And then we're going to return total. N would be equal to sum of. Now this time we give here the arguments. And our arguments here contains two numbers. We have the 5 and 6. And then what we'll do is we're going to print the result. So we have total is, let's have, so now let's execute this one and let's see what's going to happen. So we're going to click this one. It should be n in this case. So let's run this. Okay, so the total is 11. And as you could see in this case, we have here 5 and 6. 5 here corresponds to A and 6 corresponds to B. We can call this one positional argument because the numbers here have the same positions with the parameters in this case. And if we don't want to follow these positions, then we can also name like this. Say, for example, in the case of A, the value is 6, and then the B is 5. So we can also do something like that. So let's change the number so we could see properly if this is really working or not. So let's do this. See, the total number is, or the total is 16. So we call this one named arguments. Why named arguments? Because we named the parameters here to be equal to these arguments. Do you want to know more about this channel? Just click these cards. We do have a lot of free data science courses for free, like machine learning essentials, deep learning mathematics, and a lot more. Here, you can always learn an upskill for free.